Sounds like it's getting chaotic over there.
All right, we're live. Let's see if I can't get an intro to play. Oh, what happened there?
I can hear you.
Tony, keep the live stream off. Because we can hear it in the background.
There you go.
That's true, yeah.
No, that'll work.
The intro won't even play. All right, well, we're live, and this is what happens when we're live.
Yeah.
BARFF Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Brian the Commish, live in studio with co-host of the show, Walt Mikulski. Walt, it's great to have you here tonight.
Yeah, it's great being here.
Also live in studio, the owner of Heartbroken Sore and Losers, Jordan's here tonight. How are you, Jordan?
Doing good, feeling like a loser.
All right, we've got multiple owners joining us via Zoom that hopefully you're seeing on the screen because I don't know what's happening here. And hopefully we're recording some level of audio because I'm not sure that that's happening either. So we'll see what happens. If anyone wants to jump and check the live away from their phone, that's fine. But what a week. Let's talk about the fact that we're down to the final four. And in order to get there, it was a little bit of, what is that, shit and Twinkies, I believe was the term that you used. Well, which game do you want to start with?
Oh, I mean, we got Tom here. Let's. I want to hear him start the grieving process and work his way back to acceptance. So what we go over our game.
Tom, what are your thoughts on your narrow loss, which I thought that was going to be a comeback with that Washington game. Your thoughts on the end of this season? Yeah, Walt, I will say that late in the Washington game, Antonio Gibson punched one, he was doing well, and then they were down in the red zone, and it wasn't Antonio Gibson.
Yep.
It was some guy. I'd have to look at it. Some random guy got a carry and punched it in the end zone, and I thought that was going to be the one that was going to bring it within.
Yeah, no doubt. I was like, I was expecting to have a miserable night. I really did, especially when Gibson scored that touchdown early on. I'm like, well, here we go. And then, as it went on, I'm like, oh my God, this could happen. And then I started thinking about poor Tom, his childhood hero, Tom Brady, just screwing him unbelievable. And then, of course, I don't know how Dalvin Cook only got 10 points against the Bears defense when they didn't have one starting person in their secondary. So that was like mind blowing as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's a tough loss because it's just one of those times that normal production or even from Cook or even Brady gets his, like he said, 12-13, and he wins that game walking away. But you did get 25 from Hunter Henry, so that was a bit of an anomaly in itself.
That was a good start.
It was a really good start. Oh yeah, it wasn't for. Yeah, no, exactly. Well, yeah, when Brady's receivers like phantom injuries. I still don't know how Mike Evans hurt his hamstring.
I don't know.
I did not see it at all during that game. It was so bizarre. But yeah, it was. I felt it was kind of a gift, honestly.
6 points.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. That was actually the story of the other game too. Was these disappointing performances by players that have been consistent
Yep.
all year long.
Now, don't get me wrong. I felt I deserved to win regardless of what the outcome was, because Tom, everybody says your team's a fraud, so you shouldn't be in the playoffs.
Let's hear from some of the owners that have jumped aboard the fraud train in weeks past. Kyle or Ant, do you want to weigh in on? Did you believe at any point Hung Like a Horse was going to take this one?
Oh,
What happened? How can we hear Tom and not them?
do we hear Tom?
Does Kyle or Ant have themselves on mute? There he is.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yep. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
This is yep. All right, let's look at the teams that were not competing in round one, because we had a hell of a game in the consolation bracket. Jordan, how does it feel putting up 125, second highest score of the week, and you not only tie the Springfield Rifle, you can't even get a win, but you would have beaten any of these playoff teams. Tell me about that feeling.
While we're still on the Tom's a fraud topic, after scoring 125 points a week and thinking like, who should I have had that playoff spot over? I looked back at my games this year, and the games I played against Tom were the two games that I would have won if I made better lineup decisions. So,
that hurts.
Tom's a fraud. But moving on from that, yeah, I mean, it just goes to show, watch out for me in Rifle next year. We just had bad luck.
Yeah, you had a really good week. Well, both of these teams up and down the lineup. Rogers and Allen play the way that they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Gets 30 points from Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
These teams look good this week. How much does that hurt in the consolation?
Yeah, it does hurt, but that's how it usually is. They always look good when it doesn't mean anything. So yeah, I've been there. I know when I had that great year and I lose to we'll talk about my arch enemy soon enough. And then the week after, like, I would have won easily, and yeah, it's just it hurts when that happens to you.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm not going to talk about our game at all because it was awful. Yeah. I will say, of the teams sitting on the sidelines in round one, before we get to the second game, the high score of the week, Walt, was put up by Huey Lewis in the news. Is that a forebearer of things to come?
It just, I don't know. It just seems like it's divine right or divine intervention him that he's going to win this. He's had the one owner who has had zero injuries to deal with the whole year pretty much. And again, we talked about this last week. Cooper Kupp all of a sudden is a reincarnation of like the greatest wide receiver in NFL. I don't know how.
He might get 180 catches this year. It's insane.
And Tyler and I were talking about this. By now, why wouldn't teams be double covering him? You worried about Odell beating you on the other side?
I don't understand it. I don't know how one guy who is not the most physically gifted guy in the NFL is just every week getting 10, 11 catches.
Yeah, it is 30 points. Easy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So, I don't know. I don't know who's beating Huey Lewis. Who's going to stop that train? It just seems like everything's rolling right for him. Yeah. But this has been a weird year. Yeah. Tom Grady can get 6 points.
Now I want to talk to Kyle about the fact that he was the other team sitting it out this week. The number 2 ranked team gets the bye, puts up 101 points, and the once feared running back group on that team is now looking like it may be a liability. Kyle, concerns heading into round 2 in your first game in the playoffs, based on this week. There too. That very well could be, but we'll talk about next week in a minute. Let's talk about the other game that had consequence. Someone had to win, someone had to go home. Boston Beans takes out number 4 seed, no lineup needed, 118 to 108. Ant, you got 14 points out of Tua. He seems to be the one that's going to lead you the rest of the way. Tell us about your game from last week.
Yeah.
Five exactly.
Yeah.
Duke Johnson had the like 20 points for
Yeah.
some. Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, that's going to be hard to make up those points,
But Mark Andrews somehow.
36 points.
Yeah.
The savior.
The savior, Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep. Well, when I look at no lineup needed, I praised him on the text that move to put Amon Ra St. Brown in and keep Michael Pittman Jr. on the bench, and it couldn't have worked out better.
Yeah, that was incredible. I want to get him on a lie detector and see if he really did plan that out. I just can't believe that he pulled that out. Yeah.
He did.
He did.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
the second quarter, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I buy it. You know, Christian stand-up guy, if he says it, but I don't know. It seems a little fishy to me. And then, of course, Commander Kirk just abandoned ship.
Kirk Cousins and Joe Mixon had their lowest point totals of the entire season when he needed it most. That's terrible.
And that's, again, so bizarre how bizarre this season is. Like, nobody in their secondary, no stars. They didn't even get on the field together. All they did was a walkthrough. And they held, what did it have? He was less than 100 yards, I think, throwing, right?
87 yards.
How is that possible?
It's terrible.
It just doesn't make any sense.
And they won.
Yeah. Exactly. And they won. This is the craziest year in all my years of doing fantasy football.
Yeah, well, COVID's rearing its ugly head. Jordan, Boston Beans takes out no lineup. Did you see that coming this week?
I didn't see it coming. I'm impressed with Beans. I'll give him that. I don't want to give him that, but I'll give him that. I really thought Christian was going to kind of be a dark horse going into the playoffs because, you know, his team's interesting, but he sort of had like a Davis season where it all fell together for him. Like Pittman kept having good weeks, and you know Mixon worked out, and Fournette worked out, and even Pitts like had a decent year. So he had a lot of maybes that were working out all season, and I thought he was going to be a force, but Tony took him out, and he moves on.
And he does move on. What a great round one. I thought that it was a disaster with the Tuesday games and the games getting moved, but there was a lot of drama going on.
There was
this week. That was really, really entertaining. And that brings us to round 2 coming up. And round 2 is our final 4. It is time to find out who's going to be playing for the golden toilet seat. Bye weeks are out the window, and now we've got Huey Lewis in the News taking on Boston Beans, and a Civil War game with Born to Run taking on Sody Pantloads. We're gonna stay with Boston Beans right now. You're taking on the number 1 seed and the team that put up the highest score last week. Do you see paths to victory for you this week? He is due. He's due for a cold week, that is for sure. Walt, do you see a path for Boston Beans to take out the champs?
Yeah, I think the Beans has a chance. I mean, it does hurt. Well, who are you putting in for Mike Evans? You haven't shown your hand yet. Tony.
Is Tony muted again?
Doesn't look like he's muted.
Tony. He might be eating a hot dog that he just bought earlier today.
Looks like we lost all of them.
Did we lose all audio?
I didn't touch anything.
He swears.
Hold on, gents. Hold on. Technical difficulties. This is the joys of going live. What the hell happened?
It figures I ask a question.
I did not touch a thing. I wonder if it was something to do with
There, I see mouths moving, but no audio.
Oh wait, now something's going on. Oh, what the fuck is
Did
that?
it crash on you?
Nothing crashed. Everything's still running.
Oh, okay.
Just no audio.
There we go. Hey, now.
Hey.
Did you guys all mute on purpose just to mess with us?
Is everyone back? Oh, there we
Okay.
are.
All right.
Yeah, that was so weird.
So Tony, I don't know if you heard my question. Who you putting in for Mike Evans?
Okay.
Okay.
He had a really good week last week.
He
yeah.
did it. Yeah. 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 Zach Ertz.
Is D Hop still out?
Yeah. D Hop's done. Yeah, he's on IR.
Good trade.
So I'll say this, and once again, this is the kind of season Connor has. You got a guy who faked his vaccination card. The coach says he don't give a shit, and he's gonna play, and he's gonna be targeted about 100 times.
Yeah.
So the path is, I think, very narrow for Tony for sure. I think Zeke against Washington, that's not a great matchup.
No.
I really don't think so. If Taylor can be held, say, around whatever they're projecting 20, and I think you need Cup to come down too to be like in the teens. Maybe that's the way it happens. But you got some good matchups too, Tony. I think Aaron Jones against Cleveland, he's ready to bust out. Jacob, that's not great. Yeah, you got a tough road, Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But they may be up big because they
Yeah, I was gonna say, how
got
many
the
points?
equipment manager playing quarterback for New Orleans this
Yeah,
week, so
yeah.
they may be a. That's a good point.
Well, wait till Russ leads me to the championship. He was terrible.
Yeah, that's.
But
not
I
bad.
might actually start him this week. But we don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
Well, let's get ahead of ourselves. Let's move on in. Kyle, let's bring you into the conversation. You've got a game against Born to Run, and I'm going to bring up the intro, the draft special, in which on the red carpet, I believe that you said, and I think I brought this up last week, I think that you said, Born to Run is in my back pocket. Tell me how you feel about your game against Born to Run this week. Walt, any response?
Yeah, it does. Normally in other years, I think when I played, I felt I was the favorite. But coming into this game, I'm clearly the underdog with the injuries I have. So it would be extremely gratifying to pull the upset off this year coming in. I think it's tough. My biggest hope, he might have to make a tough choice between Hurts and Jackson.
Yep.
So maybe he makes a mistake there. Kamara might be, it's projecting him 17. That might be a lot when you got the water boy as the quarterback.
Well, Kamara is also the emergency quarterback, so maybe he
Oh,
throws
boy.
for 3 or 4
Wouldn't that be something?
That's right.
Well, that would be shocking. and man, the Rams are one of the best teams to have someone with you're facing their receiver going against the Rams.
Yeah.
The Rams are a tough secondary. Ramsey locks on Justin Jefferson. I'm going to call it. He's not getting 18. I just don't see that happening. So I think there's some intangibles there. I think the hardest part for me is if Mahomes, if Kelsey and Tyreek Hill are still on COVID, I might have to go do a little cooking with Russ. So we'll see. I don't love the matchups for Edmonds against Indy, Stevenson, or Damian Harris against Buffalo. Those suck.
Yeah.
But the receivers are how I'm going to win this. I got Waddle, Johnson, and Debo all healthy. Debo gets me. I told Kyle I need like 30 out of him tonight.
Ooh,
That to
all
me
right.
gives me a fighting shot. What's that?
That is.
It is a big ass.
That's a big ass.
This time of year, though. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
Tyler, you've had a lot of exposure to Born to Run and Sody Pantloads. Who do you see coming out on top this week? I don't know. I don't know if we're putting anything on YouTube that's going to make any sense right now. That's kind of the exciting part of this. But if so, I will cut that and yeah, we'll use it next week. That's yeah, 85 points prediction.
All right.
Yeah, Jordan, final four. Who comes out? Who's playing in the title game?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Sody Pantloads Huey Lewis title game. I'd love to take an underdog, but I mean, if you look at the points for in the standings, and if you look at their projections for this week, it's just ridiculous the gap that they've built amongst the rest of us. So that's my take.
All right, we're polling the teams that are out. Tommy, who plays in the championship game after this week?
Oh, wow. No, that was pretty good.
That is true. Anything happens in this league. Ty, you gave us your prediction with Sody Pantloads as a heavy favorite in your mind for the Huey Lewis and the News Boston Beans game. Who takes that one? Beans
Wow.
on the upset. What? He's got
New Orleans. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. 50 points, though.
Yeah.
There's some interesting projections
Yeah.
coming out of worst team ever tonight. I like it.
Might have to check Brenda's brownies over at our house because I don't know what Tyler's eating.
All right, let's go to the teams that are in it. Ant, who goes to the championship game this year? Which two teams?
Wow.
Ooh.
All right. Yep. Kyle, who's playing championship game this year? Battle of Bunker Hill. Walt, who comes out of the final four?
As much as I want, I'd love to see Tony get there and have that apartment in Chucktown raging for a championship. But I hate to say it, I don't see anyone stopping Connor. And I do think Kyle has enough firepower to get by me, which leads me to ask this question is, no one likes seeing these two teams keep kind of, getting championships. So I'll throw it out to our crowd. Who do we want to win? Forget about who we think will win, but who do we want to win?
Yeah, somebody jump in on that.
Out of this four?
No, out of the.
That just those two. If it's Davis and Kyle.
Oh.
You see, that's what I'm saying.
Oh.
Wow, thanks, Tom. Tom, I'll bring something down to you. All right.
All right. All right. Anybody else have?
Well, JJ, what did you say?
Tony, I can't want that to happen because you just wouldn't stop hearing about it for 2 years. And it's the same. It is my night. It's the same thing with Davis too. So I guess BTR or Soats. Soats is sometimes they rub it in your face, but for the most part they're classy about it because they have that fear that it's all gonna go downhill. So I'd say BTR or Soats. I'd want to win. I can't pick.
No, I thank you. I appreciate. So that's what I heard. Soates is a little more boastful, whereas Davis maybe a little, more low key.
He does sit in the shadows. And
He
just,
does.
I mean, as far as my perspective, my entire experience is in the shadows, so I don't know. But
Until a trade negotiation is going on, then you start hearing about it.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yep, unbelievable. I got to tell you, I'm rooting for Born to Run in this whole thing, only because first, he's the co-host of the show and does a great job every week. Second, it gives me some hope that one of the older owners who hasn't won in a long time that title,
Yeah.
that means that there is a chance that this is a thing that you can win because I haven't won it.
Yeah, no, I agree with the. I guess the elder statesmen haven't put up a championship in quite a while.
Oh, the knuckleheads are the knuckleheads. There is no truer team name. This has been an awful experience for the last 5-6 years. So, but yeah. All right. Anybody else? Ty, did we hear from you? True. All right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Ty and Tommy, and Christian has played in the title game, but he didn't
he's
win.
never won a game.
Yeah.
Thank God I don't have that monkey on my back. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, that's rough.
That is rough.
I really thought earlier. I thought that not earlier, late building towards the playoffs. I thought that Hung Like a Horse was going to come on and take it. There was that winning streak towards the end, and there was all that momentum, and just falling short last week. So
that's tough. It's another year. You got to sit back and think about what I'm going to try to do different the next year.
Yep.
And there's 3 guys got a lot of soul searching to do between now and next year.
I love Ty turning on the confidence 2 weeks ago and trying to will his way into that, but it didn't work out. But a valiant attempt. Yes. All right, that is the show for the week. Now I have no idea what this finished product is going to look like. I'm going to jump right on that channel and see what we got. I can't put the outro on because the intro didn't even work. But it was great to see everyone. Kamish is going to be right here playing with this machine, trying to get the audio to work for the next week, and we'll see if we can't do something similar next week. All right, Walt, good.
Oh, yeah.
Good first attempt at live.
Exactly.
I think we put something on film. We'll see what we get.
We'll see what happens.
Jordan, thanks. Thanks for coming in to the studio, Jordan, and all of the Final Four teams. Good luck to you guys. I'm looking forward to 2 really good games this week.
Tony, I'd love to see you in the championship.
All right, guys, that's the show for the night.
All right.
Take care. Good luck to all.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Bye.